Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into ancient wisdom from Stoicism to discover 5 powerful lessons that can lead us to a more spiritually fulfilling life. In a world filled with constant distractions and chaos, Stoicism offers a path to inner peace, resilience, and deeper connection with ourselves. Today, we'll take a journey through these teachings, exploring not just what they mean, but how to live them. Each lesson comes with a story to make it real, practical exercises you can try, and reflections to ponder. So, if you're ready to transform your mindset and embrace a more meaningful existence, let's get started with these 5 Stoic lessons. Lesson 1. Control what you can. Our first lesson is one of the most foundational principles of Stoicism, focusing only on what we can control. It's a simple idea, but incredibly powerful. Let me start with a story to illustrate how transformative this lesson can be. Imagine a person named Alex. Alex is a hard worker, dedicated to his job, but he's always stressed. He worries about his performance reviews, his co-workers' opinions, and even the weather because he commutes on foot. He spends his days feeling drained and frustrated, battling with things over which he has little to no control. One day, during a difficult period at work, he stumbles across a quote that catches his attention. "Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference." This is often known as the Serenity Prayer, but it's also a powerful Stoic concept. Suddenly, something clicks. He realizes he's been exhausting himself trying to control things that aren't his to control. This realization marks the beginning of a transformation for Alex. This story isn't just about Alex. We've all been there in some way, haven't we? Spending hours or even days worrying about things we can't change. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes so valuable. The Stoics teach us to look carefully at each situation and ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, they encourage us to let it go. If the answer is yes, we can take intentional steps to address it. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, had a saying that resonates with this idea. Some things are in our control, and others are not. For the Stoics, it was vital to focus only on the things within our control, such as our own thoughts, actions, and responses. Things like other people's opinions, external events, or the decisions of others. We may want to influence them, but ultimately they're beyond our direct control. Imagine how liberating it would feel to let go of this weight and focus entirely on what you can influence. This is not a call to be passive or indifferent, but to empower ourselves by putting our energy where it matters most. Now you might wonder, how do I start applying this in real life? Here's a simple exercise to help. Try starting a control journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things that happened which were outside your control and reflect on how you responded to them. Did you spend time and energy worrying or stressing about them, or were you able to let go and move on? By reviewing your responses, you'll start to notice patterns and become more aware of when you're letting go and when you're holding on unnecessarily. Each day, take a few minutes to review what you wrote down. Over time, you'll see how this practice can help bring a sense of calm and focus to your life. Keeping this journal can be a powerful way to train yourself in this Stoic mindset, helping you identify and manage these moments when they come up in the future. Another way to put this principle into action is through mindfulness. When you feel yourself getting stressed or overwhelmed by something outside your control, pause and take 3 deep breaths. As you breathe, ask yourself, is this within my control? Let this question guide your thoughts back to the present moment. Often, simply breathing and focusing on your surroundings can help you let go of worries and bring clarity to the situation. Let's say you're frustrated with a delay or with traffic. When you feel that frustration rising, take those deep breaths and remind yourself that the delay is outside your control, but how you respond to it is fully within your power. You might choose to listen to a calming podcast or an audiobook, or simply reflect on your day with acceptance. This simple mindfulness practice can be a game changer in helping you maintain peace in challenging situations. Take a moment to reflect. What's one thing in your life that you're ready to let go of because it's outside your control? This might be a difficult question at first, but remember, letting go isn't a sign of weakness. In fact, it's a conscious choice to reclaim your energy and focus it on what truly matters. By doing so, you free yourself from unnecessary worries and make space for what you can actually influence. By embracing this Stoic principle, we start to see life from a new perspective. We become free from unnecessary burdens and find ourselves guided toward a more peaceful, empowered, and spiritually fulfilling life. This lesson isn't just about managing stress, it's about gaining clarity and control over how we choose to live. Every time you consciously focus on what's within your control, you take one more step toward becoming the best version of yourself. Lesson 2. Embrace adversity. The second Stoic lesson is about embracing adversity. At first, this might seem counterintuitive. Why would we want to embrace hardship? But for the Stoics, adversity wasn't something to avoid. Instead, they saw challenges as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. To understand this lesson, let's dive into a story that captures the essence of embracing adversity. Imagine a young woman named Maya. Maya had always been a high achiever, excelling in her studies and career. But then, unexpectedly, she faced a setback. She was laid off from her job. For weeks, Maya struggled with feelings of failure and disappointment. She couldn't understand why this happened, and she felt defeated. During this difficult time, she came across a quote by Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." At first, Maya didn't fully grasp the meaning of these words, but as she reflected on them, she realized something profound. Her setback wasn't a dead end, but a redirection. Instead of seeing it as a failure, she began to view it as an opportunity to reassess her goals and grow. Slowly, she shifted her mindset, using her free time to explore new skills, network, and pursue a path she truly felt passionate about. This adversity, which initially seemed like a curse, became the catalyst for a major transformation in her life. The story of Maya is a reminder that challenges are part of life. They're not meant to break us, but to build us. The Stoics believed that every obstacle we face has the potential to make us better. In the words of Epictetus, difficulties show a person's character. This lesson teaches us that it's not the challenges themselves, but how we respond to them that shapes who we are. Think about the people you admire, whether they're historical figures, leaders, or even friends and family members. Chances are they became who they are because of the obstacles they faced and overcame. This is why embracing adversity is so crucial. It's through these experiences that we cultivate resilience, adaptability, and inner strength. Here's an exercise to help you embrace adversity with a Stoic mindset. Start an adversity journal. Each time you encounter a challenge, whether big or small, write it down. Then list 3 things you learned from the experience or 3 ways it helped you grow. This could be anything from building patience, learning a new skill, or gaining perspective. Over time, you'll start to see your challenges not as obstacles, but as essential parts of your journey. By revisiting your entries, you'll also notice patterns in how you've grown and how your mindset has evolved. This journal will serve as a reminder that every challenge brings with it a lesson. A helpful Stoic technique for embracing adversity is called reframing. When a challenge arises, take a moment to ask yourself, how could this be an opportunity for growth? Try to see each obstacle as something that adds value to your life. For example, if you're dealing with a difficult situation at work, view it as a chance to practice patience or improve your communication skills. Imagine the setback as a stepping stone that you'll eventually look back on with gratitude. By shifting your mindset, you begin to see adversity as part of the path rather than a hindrance. Take a moment to reflect. What's one recent challenge that, upon reflection, has made you stronger or wiser? Think about how facing that adversity shaped your character, helped you develop new skills, or offered you a new perspective. Recognizing the value in our struggles can be incredibly empowering, transforming our view of hardship into something meaningful. The Stoic lesson of embracing adversity is about finding purpose and growth in life's challenges. This isn't to say that hardships are easy or enjoyable. They're often difficult. But by choosing to see them as part of our personal journey, we begin to transform adversity from something we dread into something we embrace. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, what stands in the way becomes the way. The next time you face a challenge, remember that it might be exactly what you need to reach the next level of growth on your path to a spiritually fulfilling life. Lesson 3. Practice gratitude. Our third lesson is about practicing gratitude, a principle deeply valued by the Stoics. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, cultivating a sense of peace and fulfillment. This lesson teaches us to recognize and appreciate the gifts in our lives, no matter how small. Let's explore this concept through a story. Meet Emma, a young professional living in a bustling city. Like many, Emma was constantly chasing more: a better job, a bigger apartment, a higher salary. Even as she achieved some of these goals, she found herself feeling unfulfilled, always looking toward the next milestone. One evening, after a particularly stressful day, Emma came across a quote from the Stoic philosopher Seneca. "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." These words struck a chord. She realized she had been so focused on what she didn't have that she was missing the beauty of what was already present in her life. Inspired by this revelation, Emma decided to start a daily gratitude practice. Each night, she wrote down 3 things she was grateful for. Simple things like a supportive friend, a comforting meal, or even a moment of laughter. Over time, she noticed a profound shift in her mindset. Instead of feeling driven by scarcity, she began to feel a sense of abundance, appreciating the little moments that made her life meaningful. Emma's story reminds us that gratitude isn't about accumulating more. It's about seeing the richness that's already around us. The Stoics understood the power of gratitude in cultivating a positive, resilient mindset. By appreciating what we have, we become less affected by the external ups and downs of life. We find a kind of inner wealth that external achievements can't provide. Gratitude helps us to center ourselves in the present moment, making us aware of the gifts we often overlook in our daily lives. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in comparison and desire. We're constantly told we need more: a better lifestyle, a higher status, or the latest gadget. Practicing gratitude allows us to step back from this cycle and recognize that often we already have enough. To begin incorporating gratitude into your life, try keeping a daily gratitude journal. Each evening, take a few minutes to jot down 3 things you're grateful for. These don't have to be major accomplishments or possessions. They can be as simple as a warm cup of coffee, a kind word, or the beauty of a sunset. By writing these down, you bring them to the forefront of your mind, shifting your focus from what's missing to what's present. This practice doesn't take much time, but it can transform the way you see your life. Over weeks or months, you'll likely start to notice a more positive outlook and a sense of contentment as you train your mind to focus on what you have rather than what you lack. Another powerful way to practice gratitude is by savoring small moments of joy throughout the day. When something good happens, a pleasant conversation, a quiet moment to yourself, or a delicious meal, pause and allow yourself to fully experience and appreciate it. Don't rush through it. Instead, take a few deep breaths and acknowledge how this moment makes you feel. The Stoics believed that happiness doesn't come from grand accomplishments, but from a state of mind that values and appreciates what's in front of us. By consciously savoring these moments, you bring a deeper sense of gratitude into your everyday life, making each day richer and more fulfilling. Take a moment to reflect. What are 3 things, big or small, that you're grateful for today? This could be as simple as a conversation, a meal, or even the opportunity to pause and reflect. Recognizing these small blessings is a reminder that life's true riches often lie in the moments we take for granted. Practicing gratitude is about training our minds to see the abundance around us, rather than getting lost in what we think we're missing. When we learn to value the present, we cultivate a state of inner peace and contentment. This practice isn't about denying our desires or ambitions, but about balancing them with appreciation for what we already have. Seneca's words remind us that true wealth comes from appreciating what we have, not from endlessly craving more. Embracing this Stoic lesson of gratitude can be a powerful step toward a more spiritually fulfilling life. Lesson 4. Live in accordance with nature. Our 4th Stoic lesson is to live in accordance with nature. This concept goes beyond simply appreciating the beauty of the natural world. For the Stoics, living in harmony with nature means understanding and accepting our place in the universe and aligning ourselves with its rhythms. Let's look at a story to see how this principle can shape our lives. Meet Liam, a busy executive who often feels disconnected, not only from others, but from himself. His days are packed with back-to-back meetings, constant notifications, and a never-ending to-do list. One weekend, feeling burned out, he decided to take a break and visit a quiet mountain retreat. While there, he spent time in nature, hiking, breathing in the fresh air, and simply observing the world around him. The stillness, the natural flow of the trees swaying in the wind, and the river coursing through the rocks created a sense of peace he hadn't felt in a long time. In this calm setting, Liam began to understand a fundamental Stoic teaching, that we, too, are part of nature. Just like the trees, rivers, and mountains, we have our own natural rhythms and limitations. He realized that by constantly pushing himself against his natural boundaries, he was creating inner turmoil and exhaustion. Returning from his retreat, he made a conscious decision to live more in harmony with his true nature. This didn't mean abandoning his responsibilities, but rather approaching them with a newfound respect for his own limits and a gentler mindset. Liam's story reminds us that living in accordance with nature is about recognizing our human qualities, our strengths, our vulnerabilities, and our need for rest and balance. The Stoics believed that aligning ourselves with the natural order helps us live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Just as nature moves through cycles of growth and rest, we too need to respect our inner and outer rhythms. In our modern world, it's easy to forget this wisdom. We're often urged to be on all the time, to always strive for more, and to resist rest. But by ignoring our natural need for balance, we risk burnout, stress, and disconnection. The Stoics taught that by accepting our place in the larger order of things and embracing our human nature, we can live a more harmonious, fulfilling life. One practical way to align with this Stoic principle is by spending a few minutes each day reconnecting with nature. You don't need to go on a retreat or find a secluded mountain. Just step outside. Notice the details of your environment, the color of the sky, the movement of the leaves, the sound of the birds. This practice doesn't take much time, but it serves as a grounding reminder that you're part of a larger, natural world. If possible, make this a daily habit. By spending even 5 minutes each day observing nature, you'll find a sense of peace and perspective that is often missing in the busyness of life. Another way to live in accordance with nature is by embracing your natural limitations. Take a few minutes to pause and reflect on your own rhythms. Are you pushing yourself too hard? Are there areas of your life where you're going against what feels natural or sustainable? For example, if you feel physically or mentally exhausted, allow yourself to rest. If you feel the need to connect with others, reach out to a friend or loved one. Living in harmony with your nature is about honoring these needs and allowing yourself to move through life with balance. By embracing your limits, you align yourself with your true nature, fostering both resilience and peace. Take a moment to reflect. What's one area of your life where you could live more in alignment with your natural rhythms and needs? This could be as simple as prioritizing rest when you're tired, spending more time outdoors, or allowing yourself to say no to commitments that feel overwhelming. Recognizing these areas is a step toward a more balanced, harmonious life. Living in accordance with nature isn't about abandoning ambition or change. It's about moving through life in a way that respects both the natural world and our human limitations. The Stoics understood that just as nature has seasons, we too have cycles of growth, rest, and renewal. When we align with these rhythms, we experience a deeper sense of harmony and fulfillment. By accepting ourselves and our place in the larger order of things, we find peace and purpose. This Stoic lesson encourages us to live not in conflict with the world, but in a way that honors both our humanity and our connection to the universe. Lesson 5. Cultivate inner virtue. Our final Stoic lesson is to cultivate inner virtue. For the Stoics, virtue was the highest good and the cornerstone of a meaningful life. They believed that living in alignment with virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance leads to true fulfillment. Let's dive into this idea with a story that highlights the importance of virtue. Meet Sophie, a dedicated teacher who values integrity above all else. She genuinely cares about her students and wants to make a positive impact on their lives. One day, she overhears a conversation among colleagues suggesting that favoritism might help certain students receive scholarships. Sophie feels conflicted. She wants to support her students, but knows that favoritism goes against her values of fairness and justice. Reflecting on what she should do, Sophie remembers a quote she once read by Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. B1. With this thought in mind, Sophie chooses to uphold her principles. She advocates for the students based on merit alone, even though this decision doesn't necessarily make her popular among her colleagues. In doing so, she remains true to herself and her values. Sophie's story exemplifies the Stoic commitment to inner virtue. Rather than seeking approval or success at any cost, the Stoics taught that we should focus on cultivating our character. For them, virtue is not just about following rules or appearing moral. It's about aligning our actions with our core values. It's about doing what's right, even when it's difficult, and even if no one else is watching. In our lives, it's easy to be swayed by external rewards, opinions, or societal pressures. We may feel the need to compromise our values for success, popularity, or convenience. However, the Stoics remind us that true fulfillment doesn't come from these external things, but from living a life aligned with our inner principles. By cultivating virtue, we create a foundation of integrity that sustains us through life's ups and downs. To help you cultivate inner virtue, try keeping a virtue reflection journal. Each evening, take a few moments to reflect on your actions from the day. Ask yourself, did I live according to my values today? Were there moments when I had to choose between what was easy and what was right? By writing down these reflections, you'll become more aware of your values and start noticing opportunities to practice them in everyday situations. As you continue this practice, you'll likely see growth in your character. By consciously reflecting on your choices, you'll strengthen your commitment to living a virtuous life, aligned with the principles that matter most to you. Another way to cultivate inner virtue is through mindful intention setting each morning. Take a few minutes at the start of your day to identify one value you want to embody, such as kindness, patience, or courage. Visualize specific situations where you might need to draw on this virtue and set an intention to act with this value in mind. For example, if you choose kindness, you might think of ways to show compassion to others during the day, whether by listening attentively or offering support to someone in need. By setting this intention in advance, you prepare yourself to act with virtue when opportunities arise, making it easier to stay aligned with your values. Take a moment to reflect. What's one virtue that's especially important to you, and how can you embody it more fully in your daily life? This could be a commitment to honesty, a dedication to fairness, or a focus on compassion. Identifying this virtue and considering specific ways to practice it can bring greater purpose and fulfillment to your actions. The Stoic lesson of cultivating inner virtue is about creating a strong moral foundation that guides us through life. In a world where success is often measured by external achievements, the Stoics remind us that true success is an inner journey. Virtue is about living in alignment with what we believe is right, standing firm in our values, and being the kind of person we aspire to be. When we live with virtue, we find a deeper sense of fulfillment that external rewards can't match. This lesson encourages us to look within and focus on what truly matters, leading to a life of integrity, purpose, and inner peace. As we wrap up our journey through these 5 Stoic lessons, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've discovered. Each lesson: controlling what you can, embracing adversity, practicing gratitude, living in accordance with nature, and cultivating inner virtue, is a pathway to a more peaceful, purposeful, and spiritually fulfilling life. The Stoics weren't just philosophers, they were practical guides, offering us timeless wisdom that helps us navigate life's complexities with grace and resilience. By focusing on what's within our control, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and worry. This lesson empowers us to take ownership of our reactions, fostering inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Embracing adversity encourages us to view challenges as opportunities for growth, transforming life's hardships into stepping stones toward resilience and character. Practicing gratitude shifts our perspective, allowing us to appreciate life's abundance and find joy in the present. Living in accordance with nature reconnects us to the world around us and reminds us to honor our own human needs and limitations. And finally, cultivating inner virtue grounds us in a strong moral foundation, helping us align our actions with our highest values. Together, these lessons create a holistic approach to life that balances inner peace with outer purpose. Stoicism teaches us that a meaningful life isn't one free from challenges or hardships. It's a life in which we learn to respond to those challenges with wisdom, courage, and integrity. In a world filled with distractions and constant demands, these teachings help us focus on what truly matters, guiding us toward a life of authenticity and fulfillment. As you move forward, remember that these lessons are not one-time practices, but lifelong habits. Each day presents a new opportunity to practice mindfulness, gratitude, courage, and virtue. By integrating these principles into your life, you cultivate a mindset that stays grounded no matter what comes your way. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If these Stoic teachings resonated with you, consider revisiting them whenever you need guidance or inspiration. And if you're looking to dive deeper into Stoicism and other practices for a meaningful life, subscribe to our channel and continue exploring with us. Until next time, remember, the journey to inner peace and purpose is one of daily practice, and each small step brings us closer to the life we seek.